Hello everybody, welcome to my channel Programming in Python with RSK, and I am Rajendra Kulkarni. Friends, in our earlier video we have seen mathematical relational operators in Python. In this video we will learn about logical relational operators in Python: and, or, all, any, and not. These five are the logical relation operators we can use in Python. Let us start with and. In case of operator and, if all values in an expression evaluate to true, it returns the last value of the expression. It doesn't return true or false if there are multiple expressions in sub-expressions in the expression for which we are trying to evaluate. Then it returns the last value of the expression. Any non-zero value, irrespective of its sign or the value, is taken as true. So 100 plus 100 minus 100, 0.00001, all are true. In case the expression evaluates to false, the first value which has evaluated to false is returned, and that expression evaluates to false if it encounters 0 or a value which is 0 or false will return as a output of and when while evaluating the expression, when it encounters false for the first time, it will return that value. So when it is true, when it evaluates to true, the last value of the expression is returned. In case of false, the first value that has gone to false or which is false is returned. All the expressions in and or in any logical relational operators are evaluated from left to right. Now let us see one expression. We have given here a is equal to 20, b is 30, c is 40. Then we write a expression d is equal to, into the brackets, a and b and c. Now these a, b and c, all the three values are non-zero, so definitely expression will evaluate to true and it will return the last value that it has encountered, which is the value of c. So the output will be d is equal to 40 because c is 40. Return the last value 40 as all three values 20, 30 and 40 are true. And why they are true? Because they are all non-zero. Let us see another expression, a and b and c, where a is 20, b is 0, c is 30. So naturally when it is encounters 0 as it is the value of b, the expression will return false and d will be assigned with 0. So the output will be 0. Because in and relational operators case, it returns the first value which is false. Another few examples we will see. Now in this case our expression is D is equal to A less than B and B is greater than C and C is less than A. Values of A, B and C are 200, 300 and minus 100. Please note this is minus 100. So what this expression shall return? Since A is less than B is true, B is more than C is true and C is less than A is true. So when all the three evaluates to true, the output for this expression will be true. But what the value that will be returned is last value, which is true, which is A in this case. So this whole expression will return true because C less than A evaluates to value true. Another expression, we need not have only less than, more than or the relation operators for working with logical expressions and logical expressions in Python or in any language for that sake. Now here we are giving this expression is C is equal to A minus B and A divided by B and A mod B. A minus B will be minus 100, which is a non-zero value. A divided by B will be 0.5, which is again a non-zero value, and A mod B, 100 modularly divided by 200. So it will have a remainder 100. So A mod B will evaluate to 100. When all the three values here after evaluation of individual sub-expression are true because they are all non-zero, the output will be the result of A mod B, which is 100. So our output is 100. C is equal to 100. When all conditions are true, last value of the expression is assigned to D, assigned to C in this case, not D, sorry. Another, we are using a mathematical expression again. In this case, A is 1, B is 2, C is 0. Print A raised to 2 plus B raised to 2. How much that will be? That will be 1 plus 4, 5, ended with another mathematical expression, A raised to 2 plus B raised to 2 plus 5. So A raised to 2 is 1, B raised to 2 is 4 plus 5. So this will evaluate to 10. And when both the expressions, mathematical expressions within the print statement are evaluating to a non-zero value, this expression will, this AND will also becomes, will result into or evaluate to true. But what value it will return? It will return the last value, that is non-zero. In this case it will be 10 because this mathematical expression evaluates to 10 and hence we get 10 as the output. Expressions are evaluated and the last expression evaluates to 10. Then there are logical OR operators in Python. A OR expression evaluates to true if any of the value in the expression evaluates to true. Expression is evaluated from left to right. Now in this expression a is equal to 20, in this example program a is equal to 20, b is equal to 0 and c is equal to 30. First a is evaluated, a is 20, so it will be true. Then expression output the first value which evaluates to true. Look here, OR gives true if any of the value is true. So as soon as it encounters true, because a is equal to 20, so in this expression a is 20, which is non-zero, which is true, so it will return that value as output. It will not check further whether there is a true or false evaluation of further quantities. So OR output the first value which evaluates to true and outputs the last value which evaluates to true. Now in this case, another example for OR, A, B, C are assigned with values 20, 0 and 30. Now what we are doing here, we are combining AND and OR together. So D is equal to A and B. A and B will be false because B is 0. So in case of AND, if any of the value evaluates to 0, the AND expression evaluates, the whole AND expression evaluates to 0 or false. So this is 0 or C is true, 30. So 0 or 30 will give us the output as D is equal to 30, whereas A and B evaluates to 0. The expression output the first value which evaluates to true in case of OR. In this case A and B is the first value which evaluates to 0 and C is 30. This is the first value which evaluates to 1 or true. So D will be assigned with value of C which is 30. A few more examples are OR. D is equal to A and B or C. Now values of A and B have been changed. A is 20, B is 0, C is 0. So A and B will evaluate to false, and since C is also false, the output will be 0. In this case A is equal to 0, B is equal to 0, C is equal to 1. D is equal to A or B or C. Since C is true as it is a non-zero value, this D will output 1. D will be assigned with value 1 because C is 1. Forget about all other values A or B. Then A and B or C. A and B is 0. C is 1. A and B will evaluate to 0, but C is 1. So output will be 1. A and B both being 0 will evaluate to 0 when they are ANDed or even ORed. There is another operator which is called NOT in Python. It negates whatever is the value attached with NOT. A simple example, A greater than B. A is 10, B is 20, so it is going to be false, but output will be true because not of false is true. Negation of false is true. Another example, A is 10, B is 20, so A greater than B will be false, and B less than C will also be false because B is 20, C is 30. So false and false will become false and output will be true because it is not A greater than B, which becomes true. A greater than B is false, so not A greater than B will be true, and B less than C, B is less than C, it will be false. So one false and true will cause expression evaluating to false, and not of that will be true. Another example, the whole expression A is equal to B and B less than or equal to C, or C more than C is equal to A. All this expression is within one parenthesis. So not of the whole evaluation of these three terms will be the output. A is 10, B is 20, so A is equal to B will be false. B less than or equal to C, it will be false, or C is equal to A will be false. So false and false and false will return false, and when it is negated with not, the output will be true. So not necessary that only mathematical expressions or use of ints or numbers is important. A is equal to Python, B is equal to Python, print not A is equal to B. Now A is equal to B because both are Python, so not of A equal to B will be false. Another example, A is 20, B 20, A 10, B 20, C 30. Not of A equal to B, A equal to B is false, and B less than or equal to C, which is true, but false ended with true will be false, and C greater than A will be true, so it will be not of false or true. Since one of the value is true, the whole expression will evaluate to true, and it will be negated by using operator not. So what will be the output? Output will be the false. Now let us see one function all in Python, how it works. All is used to check the AND operation within the expressions in Python. Let us see an example. A is 12, B is 34, C is 1. Then there is a statement all into bracket A less than B, which is true, B greater than C, which is true, C less than A is true. So what we expect is this expression D is equal to all, and is A less than B, B greater than C, C less than A, all separated by comma, should evaluate to true. But the problem is we get an error when we try to execute this program. The error tells us that all function, the function all takes exactly one argument, whereas we are given three arguments here. A less than b is one argument, b greater than c is another argument, c less than a is another argument. So how to come out of it? What we do is all these three expressions, a greater than b greater than c less than a, all separated by comma and are enclosed in one bracket or parenthesis, and the whole parenthesis is then forming the argument, which is one single argument for the function all, and now it will work and we will get d is equal to false because a greater than b is false. Parenthesis is mandatory so that we can convert various sub expressions into one argument. Now in this case d is equal to all a, where value of a is 10, 25 and 0. So there is 1 0, all a will be false. Now what we can see here is all the three values of a will be checked, evaluated whether they are true or false separately, even though we are not passing 10, 25 and 0 as three different values, but we are passing value a or a parameter a or a to function all. This kind of expression a is equal to 2, or this kind of statement a is equal to 10, 25, 0 is type of a list, which is another kind of entity, or which is another kind of variable in Python. We will learn more about list afterwards in next few slides. Now this is obviously a is equal to 10, 25, 20, all are true, so value output will be true. Now we will see function any in Python. Any function is evaluating an expression with ORing of all the values in that expression. Let us see and understand it by example. A is 10, B is 25, C is equal to 10. Any of all these three has to be checked. Any of these three ORed. A greater than B, actually what any into a bracket and another bracket, a greater than b, b greater than c, c greater than a is whether a is greater than b or b is greater than c or c is greater than a. So the or in between these three sub expressions is not necessary when we use the function any in Python. Now in this case a greater than b is false, b greater than c is true, c greater than a is false, but since one of the expression is evaluated to true, one of the value is evaluated to true, our output will be true. What we are done in here is by sending one argument which is enclosed in a bracket to function any, we are ORing or we are ORed all the three sub expressions, and the function returns us the value of operations of OR on these a greater than b, b greater than c and c greater than a. Another example, A is 10, B is 25, C is 10. Any, D is equal to any A, B and C. Let us note here A, B and C are separated by commas and are enclosed in a bracket or parenthesis, and the whole parenthesis becomes one single argument for any, and any will check whether A, B and C are true or false and will assign the resultant value to D. See, these are A, B, C all are true because all non-zero, so output is true. Now in this case what we are doing is we are inserting one mathematical expression in our program for any. A is 10, B is 25, C is 10. Any will cause A minus C, 10 minus 10 is 0, B less than A. B is 25, A is 10, so it will evaluate to false. C less than 10, C and A are equal, so it will also evaluate to false. So A minus C is 0, B less than A is false, C less than 10 is false. So any will return false, which will be assigned to D, and when we execute this print D is equal to D statement, what we get, D is equal to false. Thank you for watching, friends. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel Programming in Python with RSK. You can reach to this channel, access this channel using @Rajendra Kulkarni -Z4M. I run another channel, Programming in C with RSK. Request you all to please subscribe to that channel also. Thank you.